what you wear. It's or belong at 18 volt.
That's right. Orbulon and 18 Volt, characters from the WarioWare game series for the uninitiated. Uh, Before we get started, J-Man, I see you have a little friend here. So this is Snakey. Jason got Snakey when he was about 2 or 3 years old, and you loved him and you had him all the time. You got a little bit older, and Snakey fell by the wayside. But the other night, you said, Jim, we gotta find Snakey. Let's find our old pal Snakey. And you pulled him out, and his stuffing was almost completely gone. He was all flat. But Mama gave him surgery and put stuffing back in him, and now he's better than ever. Yeah, oh, he loves you. Well, we're back once again to read a story Jason's written.
It's final chapter of Super Morton.
You're falling out of frame, buddy. That's right, the show within a show, the Super Morton saga.
Time crime.
That's right, the name of the story is Super Morton 5, Morton's Time Machine, where he fights some time crimes. So it begins with Morton Koopa Jr. walking into his sister Wendy's room, and he says, Wendy. Wendy says, what now? Do you want to go to the theater, asks Morton. Wendy says, I'd rather stay here and watch TV. Wendy, please. Wendy says, fine, but it better be great. They walk into the living room, where their father, Bowser, says, okay, kids, we're going to see Super Morton 5. Now promise me, Morton, says Wendy, this better not be garbage. Morton says, don't worry, sis, it'll blow you away. So they all go to the theater. And so, again, these are... Morton Koopa Jr. makes these Super Morton movies by himself. And then they go see them?
Yeah.
Alright. So Bowser walks up to the ticket booth and says, okay, Cooper, we'd like 9 tickets for Super Morton 5, Morton's Time Machine. The movie begins with a dumb version of the Invader Zim theme. A title comes up that says Super Morton 5, and under the title you see a bunch of real-life hammerhead worms crawling around. Now, the movie cuts to Ashley's house. Ashley is a character from the WarioWare series. She's like this little goth girl. And she is a sidekick. She's like a little devil person named Red, right? So, at Ashley's house, Ashley says, okay, Red. Red says, let's go! And he turns into her broom, because she's kind of a witch. And Ashley says, alright, let's go rest on that moon. They fly up and land on the moon. And Red turns back to normal. Okay, Red, says Ashley, our mission is to fight crime with this so-called Super Morton. Red says, I'm going to sing the death song now. Death, 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 death. That's why a dumb version of the Invader Zim theme was playing, because that joke is directly stolen from Invader Zim. A title card comes up that says 50,000 weeks later, which is I think something like 900 years later. Ashley and Red now have beards. Red is still singing the death song. Ashley takes her beard off and throws it down. Red, she says, would you please stop singing? She bares her teeth in anger. She looks down, and the clouds move out of the way to show a farm. Red, we're here. Red says, ooh, what did I miss? Ashley says, you can take off your beard now. We're not really old. And there's the farm. On the farm, Morton says, I love fighting crime, parents. Like he's talking to his parents, I guess. Outside, that's in the house. That's inside the farmhouse. And outside the farmhouse, Red says, let's open this door. He grabs an axe and starts chopping through the door like The Shining. Morton says, oh no, we're being robbed. Take this, robbers, says Bowser. And they throw a net over Ashley and Red. Ashley says, we're not robbers, we're heroes like you. Morton says, okay, Dad, I think they learned their lesson. He tears the net off. And Morton says, today we're going to go fight crime in Zakar. Speaking with a French accent. Lois enters. Lois Genius, Super Morton's girlfriend. Lois says, are you sure you guys aren't robbers? Super Morton, his parents, Lois and Red, get in the car. Ashley says, really? You expect me to go into your filthy machine? Morton says, it appears the engine is broken. I better add some ammo. He pours a box of Black Widows into the engine and closes it. Morton gets back into the car. Red salutes Lois and says, Red salutes Lois and said, Red here at your service. Lois says, Red, what does the R stand for? Red says, I don't know, and he starts cackling like a goblin while hitting his head. That's another joke lifted from Invaders Inc. that really makes no sense in this context. So they're in the car, and Morton says, let's put on some tunes. So Ashley gets in the car with a newspaper, and she changes the music to the theme from Halloween, and she starts reading the newspaper, which says Koopa News. Morton turns the Ashley song back on, but then Ashley goes back to the Halloween theme. They're having a radio switch fight. Suddenly the radio blows up. Ashley gets mad at Morton, and then a bunch of the Black Widows from the engine jump on Ashley and Red. Morton screams, Black Widow monsters! Then he starts beating up Ashley and Red because the Black Widows are on them. And Morton says, oh, these are not monsters after all. Ashley says, yeah, because we're not the monsters, you idiot. Morton says, oh, good. Don't worry, Morton, says Red. We're poison and venom proof. Ashley says, we're going to make you the perfect machine, because otherwise your car smells like carrion. Morton says, you're right. It also attracts large birds of prey. And he shoos away some buzzards that are on the roof of the car. So Red turns into Ashley's wand. And Morton says, Red, where'd you go? This won't take long, says Ashley. Morton turns to Lois and says, are you doing okay? Lois says, yeah. Ashley says, it is ready. Morton says, Red, you're back. Do you have a Danish sub? Red says, why does he have to be this stupid? Morton says, oh boy, let's check out this new time machine. So he goes to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean in the 1600s, where British sailors are arriving. Morton appears in a suit of armor, and he says, you dare cause the extinction of the dodo? You will die. Morton points a sword to the sky, and he throws the sword at one of the sailors. The other sailors yell, let's get out of here. Morton beats up the sailors, and a cartoon fighting cloud, the classic cartoon fighting cloud, appears over them. Morton brings the sailors back to the present and throws them in jail. He also brings the dodos back to Mauritius Island. So then Morton goes to the circus in 1903. Not just any circus, but the circus where Thomas Edison is about to execute Topsy the elephant. Morton beats up Thomas Edison, and Topsy stomps on him. Then he brings the flattened Thomas Edison to jail in the future. Then Morton travels to ancient Egypt, where inexplicably Ganon and Link from The Legend of Zelda are having a battle. And Ganon says, try me, Link. And Cleopatra, you two will face the greatest Egypt, or else you will die. Ganon laughs evilly. Morton holds Ganon by his cape over a volcano. There are no volcanoes in... Jason, did you know there are no volcanoes in Egypt? Well, just a little pointer. So Morton holds Ganon over that famous Egyptian volcano. And Ganon says, "No, not into the pit. It burns." Morton drops him into the lava. Link says, "Gee, thanks." Morton goes back to the time machine, and Cleopatra eats the asp that was going to bite her. Then, Morton goes to Ford's Theater in 1865, where John Wilkes Booth is about to shoot Abraham Lincoln. Morton grabs his gun and says, "You will die." Morton shoots John Wilkes Booth, but they don't show it on camera. It happens off camera. Abraham Lincoln says, "Thanks. Now we can watch the rest of this play." Morton goes back to the present and throws John Wilkes Booth in jail. Then he travels to the Atlantic Ocean in 1912, and the Titanic is headed to the iceberg. Morton beats up the iceberg and takes it back to the present and puts it in jail. He jails an iceberg. Then, Morton goes back in time to whenever they constructed the Hindenburg. And he says, "No, guys, no, don't use hydrogen to fill this blimp." A cloud appears over Morton's head where Ashley is saying, "Now, Morton, you should tell the constructors to use helium." "Oh, yeah, use helium instead." One of the constructors says, "Understood." Morton goes back to the present. "I did it, guys. Also, Madame Brood has cloned herself. We must go and stop her from destroying time. Also, I wonder what happened to the Broodals." The Broodals, Morton jailed in an earlier adventure. Then we see the inside of the jail with the time criminals, and the Broodals are now little rabbit skeletons. They have rotted because Morton forgot to feed his prisoners. The boss music from Mario's Missing starts playing, and the prison explodes. Morton says, "What are you reading?" Ashley says, "None of your business." Morton says, "Well, Reddy, I hope we'll never forget each other. You're my best friend." Morton and Red hug. That's sweet. I feel like they've never met before, though. So they can't be best friends. Lois says, "Hey, what about me?" Morton drives to Madame Brood's house, and they get in her... Madame Brood has a time machine. They get into that time machine. Morton says, "What's the time of the Hindenburg?" Lois says, I think May 6th, 1937. "Okay, let's go, guys." They leave the house again, and the music from the end of Mario's Time Machine plays. Madame Brood gets out of bed, and the time machine sucks her and Chain Chompikins in. They fall down in a city where Shark Jira rises out of the water and roars like Godzilla. He prepares to step on them both, and then they start crying. The boss music from Mario's Missing starts playing, and Shark Jira stomps on them. Then Shark Jira leaves. A deer comes in and drinks their flattened bodies and then leaves. And the credits roll on Super Morton 5. And in the theater, it's unbelievable. Sitting in the theater, Morton says, "That was awesome." "That was a really great final chapter, son," says Bowser. Wendy says, "That wasn't awesome. That was idiotic." Wendy turns to address everyone in the theater and says, if you see a Super Morton movie is coming out, don't waste your money." Bowser Jr. says, "It has a very insane ending." Morton says, wait, let's watch the after credits scene." Super Morton appears and starts singing a parody of "I'm a Vegetarian" called "I'm a Superhero." And it goes, "I'm a superhero, not a super zero. There's Pee-wee and Dino." They all gasp as Ganon appears and points at them. And Ganon says, "Did you like my clone?" The end. That's the end of everything. It did have everything, Jason. It had action, comedy, friendship, Cleopatra, John Wilkes Booth. Jason, I understand that. I understand you have something shocking to tell us.
I forfeit as the life. No. What?
You think the Ashley song is catchy? You think that's shocking? That's not shocking. We thought you were gonna tell us that the Kooplings are gonna die in the next episode. This is gonna be headline news everywhere. I can see you're exhausted. Do you have anything else you want to say to the people, J-Man?
Bye.